Have you ever heard of a haircut landing you in jail? No? Well, in ancient China, that was very much a possibility. Today, we're talking about hair. Yes, that stuff on your head, because in Chinese history, hair wasn't just hair. It was identity, it was honor, and it was dangerously political. Let's rewind. Way back, the first famous story involving hair in China comes from King Tang of Shang, who overthrew the tyrant King Jie. After the victory, a terrible drought hit. An oracle suggested that King Tang should sacrifice a human to the heavens. Tang felt like this was too extreme. Instead, he cut off his hair and fingernails, offered them up to the heavens, and then it rained. In ancient China, there was an idea that a part, for example your hair, could represent the whole. So Tang's message to the gods was this: take a little bit of me, but spare my people. Fast forward a few dynasties and Confucianism kicks in with this golden rule. Your body, your hair, your skin, all come from your parents. Don't mess them up. So what did that mean? No tattoos, no shaving your head, and no wild dye jobs. People kept their hair long, neat, and untouched. Zhou Gong, a famous statesman, once washed his hair 3 times in one day because he kept getting interrupted by visitors. Priorities, right? But hair wasn't just sacred, it could also save your life. Take Zixu, a guy on the run during the spring and autumn period. He was wanted by the king of Chu, who had put wanted posters everywhere. Wu was so stressed he turned grey overnight. The guards didn't recognize him with white hair and he escaped. Imagine being saved by your anxiety-induced dye job. Now meet Cao Cao, warlord and master manipulator. While on military campaign, he made a strict rule. Anyone who tramples, or whose animal tramples the crops, will be beheaded. Pretty brutal, but it makes sense. Food is the foundation of any empire. A strict rule, but one that isn't without reason. Harsh but fair. Well, until his own horse trampled a field. So what did he do? Did he execute himself? Nope, he cut off a lock of his hair and declared, "I will sacrifice my hair instead of my head." And nobody laughed, because back then, cutting your hair was like cutting off a piece of your soul. Hair also played a big part in literature. One student, Sun Jing, tied his hair to a ceiling beam to stay awake while studying. Personally, I think I'll stick with coffee. Then there's Du Fu, China's poetic drama king, who complained, "My hair's so thin, I can't even use a hairpin anymore." Meanwhile, Li Bai went full poet, saying, "My white hair is 3,000 feet long, all because of sorrow." Even Rapunzel thinks that's a bit of a stretch. Hair was central in love and politics too. Empress Wei won Emperor Wu's heart just by letting down her hair. Yang Guifei, one of China's most famous beauties, once cut her hair and offered it as a heartfelt apology after a fight with the emperor. He forgave her immediately. Then there's Lianying, a sneaky eunuch who served the Empress Dowager Zixu. He became her favorite, not because of power, but because he could brush her hair without pulling it. The truth was, break a hair, risk losing your head. He distracted her with jokes while gently brushing and pocketing any loose strands of hair before she noticed. When the Manchus conquered China and founded the Qing dynasty, they made a rule: shave the front of your head and wear a long braid, or else. This sparked massive resistance. In places like Jiading, tens of thousands were wiped out for refusing to cut their hair. Yes, haircuts became serious politics. Later on in the late Qing era, Chinese students studying abroad started chopping off braids as a political statement. In fact, some of them took it a step further and went full ninja. One held down the school inspector, one grabbed his braid, and one cut it clean off. And that's why, when the 1911 revolution came, people weren't just toppling emperors, they were also saying goodbye to centuries of old hairstyles. So yeah, in the West, a bad hair day might ruin your selfie, but in ancient China, a strand of hair could represent filial piety, political allegiance, poetic grief, and even the spark of revolution. Hair was a symbol of who you were and who you dared to become. So next time you're at the barber, maybe take a moment and think, Am I just trimming split ends? Or am I making a political statement?